Hey guys, I was just wanting to do a quick video here on my next project. This is a Fisher 590A power amp and power supply, and it is connected to, or will be, the 590T, which is the tuner and preamp. And both of these came out of I think it's a 1964 Fisher Futura console that I got recently off of Craigslist. And I had actually seen this console on there a while back, and I think they wanted $300 for it. And I thought, wow, that's pretty expensive. I mean, it looked like it was in okay shape, and I didn't bite on it. I really wanted a Fisher console. But I actually one day decided to do a search on Craigslist without images. Normally I always want to see a picture, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't passing anything else up just by always looking for a picture, and saw a listing for a Fisher console. I was like, oh cool. So it was like $15, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. So I emailed the guy. I said, hey, can you send a picture or two? And sure enough, it was the one that had been on before for $300. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go snatch this up. So I contacted the guy and went out and picked it up. And, in person, I discovered that it was in pretty rough shape, honestly. It had seen a hard life. It almost looks like the daggone thing was sitting in a bar or something. There's like, there's water stains all over the top of it, and looked like maybe a cigarette burn from somebody had left a cigarette on the end of it. I mean, it was just rode hard and put away wet, that's for sure. And I'm going to put up some pictures here for you to look at of the console itself. We'll go ahead and take a look at those real quick. So yeah, I mean, it's in rough shape, but I paid $15 for it, and I thought, well, I will go ahead and I think it's worthwhile trying to get the the electronics going again, if that's possible, and I'll do the best I can with the console itself. I'll probably have to end up re-veneering a couple of spots, hopefully not too much of that. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see what happens with the console itself. But I figured, if I can get the electronics working, get that all fixed up, hey, you know what? I can probably find a new cabinet for it, of something else that's not working. I think it would be relatively interchangeable, in terms of trying to fit the chassis here into a different cabinet. So anyway, so I got started on the electrical restoration, and I don't know if you can, well, you can actually, but there's the caps that I replaced. Those are all but one of the electrolytics have been replaced. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Actually, all but two. I've got this one here still to do, and then there's a can cap on the underneath side here. And the reason that I haven't done those yet is because I haven't ordered the can cap yet. And I wanted to wait until I did that to replace this guy here. But everything else has been recapped with Nichicons, here. I think these four here, and then those two little guys there. And then the rest are Sprague Adams, here, and down here. And I think the remaining one that I have is a Sprague Adams as well. And it's not that I had to have Sprague Adams. I heard they're really good caps. It's just that it seems like it's hard to find anything else in the values that I need, and in the axial configuration. So Yeah, they cost a few dollars more, but you know, I think I spent on what I got so far probably, what I guess, $50 in capacitors, and that includes these guys here, which are the filter caps, and these are actually 3,000 microfarad. Well, I take that back. These are each 1,500 microfarads, and they're in parallel. So the originals were 1,500s. And I've decided to, as you can see, I went ahead and tried to, or I'm still trying actually, to restuff these cans because there were two more here. And so I'm going to glue these up here, and then they have these cardboard covers on them. And I figured out how I'm going to put those back. Maybe use like some carpet tape and wrap it around there and then just snap them into place. And I think that should probably hold them. But these have to be on here because the case here is actually in the circuit. So these aren't like typical to where you would have the ground lugs grounded directly to the chassis. Like on this one, these are actually like in series in the circuit is the only way that I can describe it. So I think there's going to be actual current going through these metal cans. So I think that's why they have these cardboard covers. I wasn't going to put them on until I got to thinking about that. It's like, yeah, I think there'll be actual current going through there. So I have to get those guys put back on there as an insulator. So anyway, this is where I am, doing a full cap job. Now the bad news with this console, as if there wasn't enough already, or this chassis that is, and I didn't know this when I bought it, but this is what they called a hybrid amp, and I didn't know there was such a thing. It actually is a combination of tube and transistor amplification. So on this one, I'll flip it over here and you can see, gosh, it's upside down, but you get the idea. So I don't know how many stages there are in this thing, but none of this is considered part of the preamp. That's over in the tuner chassis. But we've got a 12AX7 here driving, it's stereo of course, driving these two driver tubes here, which are ELL80s, I guess, or EL80s. I've heard these can be kind of expensive, so I hope they're still good. And then there are, as you can see in the bag here, 8 power transistors for the output stage, and they go on under this heat sink, or this cover, and they're secured onto this heat sink here. And unfortunately, all but 2 of these are shorted. So I don't know what the history of this unit is, other than it looks like it was used and abused, and apparently it was used and abused electronically as well. I noted that 3 of these 4 little fuses here, which are running in series with these guys, were all blown. So, you know, I've got to somehow find 8 output transistors. And the bad news is, even worse news, is that the part number on these, RCA 35144, is not really the RCA type number. And I can't find that RCA type number. It would be 2N something, right? And the problem is I can't find that type number, so I cannot get the specs. If I could get the specs, then I think I could probably find some lot of 8 or 10 comparable new old stock transistors on eBay that were close enough, you know, that met or slightly exceeded the specs of these. Well, when you look these up on the internet, you can actually punch this number up and it will cross-reference directly to an NTE 121 or ECG or EGC, I forget which it is, 121. And that's the modern equivalent. They're still available. They're very expensive. You know, 22 to 25 bucks each times 8. Do the math. You know, I'm about $1.75 here, just into replacing these output transistors. So that's going to suck. I went as far as even going down to the Columbus Public Library, here where I live, the main branch, and there was a 300-page data book from 1966, had been published by RCA. And I just tried to find this part number on here. Nowhere in this book. Actually, they had 2 volumes. The one was a little bit newer. So I found nothing on these actual part numbers that cross-references to an actual RCA type, which I can then go and cross-reference to a new old stock. So it's looking more and more like I'm going to have to wind up and get the NTE replacements. So this is going to be expensive to replace these output transformers, and that sucks real bad. But, I don't want to throw this thing away. I don't want to give up on it. I think it is reparable, and I've heard that they sound really good. I mean, they kind of combined the best of tube with the best of transistor amplification. They have the warmth of the tube sound, but also the clarity of the transistors. Guys that have gotten them working or found them in good shape say they're really worth it. Go ahead and restore it, but it isn't going to be cheap. So anyways, that's where I am. Almost done with the recap job. I've got to test these tubes somehow, find out if they're still good. I got to replace this cap here, and then somehow source these output transistors. And then once I get this guy up and running, I will start work on the receiver. Now I have tried to power this up, and I hope I'm not the one who actually ended up blowing the transistors. I think the fuses were blown already, but actually this plugs into the power amp with a Molex connector. And then you switch it on with one of these guys here. So I had kind of had it hooked up and turned it on and got some buzzing, so I turned it back off. I can see why now. The transistors were blown, and I'm sure these filter caps were way gone. I mean, when I replaced these can caps here, there was electrolyte leaking out of them. They were all dried out and nasty, so I'm sure they were gone. Anyways, so we'll get this guy next. I don't really know what I'm into on this. I'm hoping that it's just a matter of replacing the caps. That's what I'm going to try, and replacing the missing tubes. And there's a couple of loose wires here up around this tuning mechanism. I got to figure out what those go to, but I do have the schematic. And then hopefully this will be a matter of just getting this guy powered up and maybe taking it to get an alignment. And I'm hoping that will work. If not, I'm paid $15 for the whole thing, and I'm not going to start this guy over here until I get this one working. Because if I can get this one working, then hey, I've at least got a decent power amp that I can use with something else. I do occasionally see these chassis come up online on eBay, so I'm hoping that I can grab one of those pretty cheap if I need to and get any replacement parts. Or let's say I get this guy running, and maybe I can find a tuner that's intact and also running to get this bad boy on the road again. So anyways, check back periodically. I will add some more videos on my progress, and hey, thanks for watching.